Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of RNG Spotlights. And today, I got a special one today. Met this man on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it now, who runs a very interesting site. I looked over it, and from a little bit of back and forth, I said, you know what, let's have him on. So, joining me today is Mr. Tyler from Gameshlf. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you guys having me.
Oh, no problem. Always want to spotlight the people who are trying to do some interesting and fun stuff with gaming. And your site is very interesting. Before we get into showing it off and everything, why don't you tell the audience a little bit what is Gameshlf?
Yeah, so Gameshelf is kind of like Letterbox or Goodreads, if you've heard of those sites, but for video games. So a place to keep track of what you've played, what you're playing, review, do things like that. We also have a feature called Game Clubs where it's meant to just be a hub for your friends to hang out with and talk about specific games that you guys are playing through together.
Okay, very fun, very fun. So, before we get more into detail with that, I like to talk about the creator himself. And because this is video game focused and everything else like that, what got you into video gaming, like overall? What was the first video game you played? What was the kind of consoles? And why did you choose to kind of continue this passion to other things too, as well?
Yeah, so I would say games have always been in my life. The first I can remember the regular Nintendo. I'm a 90s kid, so the regular Nintendo was in our house. My dad played it, and I could never touch it. And I remember when he got the Super Nintendo, and it was the same deal. I was like 5 or 6. He said, "No, no, no, this is mine. Can't touch it." And so I always had this desire to play it. And then around probably 7 or 8 years old, finally we got the 64, and my cousins all came over, and my dad finally let the reins go, and he's like, "All right, you can play it." And so that's kind of where it started. So I always watched him playing growing up, and was a little bit envious. And then finally, 64 comes around, and was able to dive into Mario Kart. Super Mario 64 were some of my earliest memories. Sneaking GoldenEye with the cousins when the parents weren't around, things like that. So that's what got me into gaming. And then just growing up, I've always liked to tinker. I'm a programmer for my day job, and so that kind of naturally led into building Gameshelf.
Okay, that's very cool. So, what are some of your favorite franchises in gaming? You know, like everyone's got their one. So, like, what is your favorite video game of all time?
Oh, my favorite video game of all time is Borderlands 2 for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not some retro one. I mean, it's not super modern, but 2012 I think that game came out.
Yeah, I
But
want to say
yeah,
so.
yeah, that's for sure my favorite game. Franchise wise, Pokemon's always been with me. Um, I've played every single one. Well, I should say I've played every single mainline Pokemon game, and I
Yeah.
still do now. I still do now with my kids, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty fun. One thing, like I think we were talking in the DMs before, I was actually sponsored to play the Pokemon TCG
Yeah,
for
that's
a couple
awesome.
years. Yeah, I don't try to over inflate my ego with that one. I always tell people like I was good. I could place in the top 100 consistently, but I wasn't,
Nah,
I
let that
wasn't
ego
winning the
go.
tournaments,
You deserve it.
No, I don't deserve it. I try to I always make fun of the people who think they're bigger than what they are. So you got to humble it. You got to humble yourself. You got to be
Yeah,
consistent, right? But
yeah. No, that's cool.
the one thing I learned when I was just doing all this traveling and playing all these games and stuff was just how much of a family orientated environment was. I was playing dads who were just there to take their kids there, and they're like, "Well, I got nothing else better to do. I'm not going to sit around for 8 hours and do nothing." And
Right.
they would travel and play with them, and then they'd be like they split it off into different divisions and everything like that, and really good bonding exercise. Just with your families and stuff. And I always tell people if your kids really do love Pokemon and they really want to get into it more, and you think they're good enough, I would definitely recommend looking for local tournaments and stuff too, because they got really good prize support, and a lot of that the younger kids because they split it up into junior, seniors, and like everyone above 18.
Yeah.
If they win these tournaments, they get money towards college scholarships.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I always tell people if you got a family, if you love Pokemon, if your kids really are into it, and they got that competitive drive, I'm like, just go to one. Maybe you'll
Just
like
do
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it Pokemon. I know a lot of people kind of are really upset with Nintendo and Pokemon, and especially with how crazy the card market is with scalpers and
Yeah.
the very mixed reception of the last games that came out, Scarlet and Violet. Uh, they still do a really good job at promoting their sport and everything, as they call it, quote unquote. And I think that a lot of people should look into it more if they really want to try to make a family bonding thing.
Yeah, for sure. No, that sounds awesome. I don't know if where I'm this little town in Michigan, I don't know if they're gonna have that for us, but
Um,
if there is one, I'd be interested. That sounds cool. And that's
yeah,
cool that there's an entry point for people that may be newer to it.
I would say just look it up a little bit because they do have a lot of the Midwest. Ironically enough, is a place is a hotbed for Pokemon champions and stuff like that too.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
I think one of the most decorated players in Pokemon history is actually from Illinois.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Is his name Carl?
no, hell no.
Oh,
I forget his name off the top of my head. He was a TCG player. He has like he won like Pokemon Worlds like 3 times. He won every event you can think of. Like really nice guy. I've met him a few times, but I'm just
really
forgetting
cool.
his name off the top of my head because it's been a while. But anywho, we're kind of just prattling on here. So Borderlands 2, what was your favorite class in Borderlands 2? Because I really liked the Technomancer, only
Oh,
because I had
okay.
like some funny interactions with my friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I actually always went with the soldier class anytime. Like so Borderlands 1, I went soldier, the auto turret. So I did that with Borderlands 2 out of the gate. But over time, Gunzerker ended up being my favorite class, just having the 2 guns. And it was mostly because the end game, you really need slag, the elemental type slag, to be able to do anything. So
Yeah.
having that in one hand and then whatever other gun in the other was like a necessity. So for end game, Gunzerker was the easy choice. But I always
Right.
do like the like you're saying, the just the Mechamancer and the robots, the things that kind of run around and do some work for you. That's always fun.
Yeah, and I got to ask a couple follow up questions. What did you think about Borderlands 3, and are you excited for 4?
Yeah, so I'm very aware of the hate on 3. Um, gunplay, I mean, I've kind of followed suit with what everyone kind of says about it. I love the gunplay. I think that the mechanics they really knocked it out of the park. But yeah, they definitely got a little bit cringy with the humor.
Mm.
And it wasn't even a doubling down of previous humor. It was definitely a whole different feel. And then of course the villains were very lackluster. But for Borderlands 4, they're saying all the right things. I'm super pumped. I mean, it looks darker, which I'm a fan of. Like on the humor side, and even just the play of it looks a little darker, a little bit more gore, things like that, more adult. And so it's looking really good. And I've heard some things about the end game as well that I'm excited for, just because I just dump hours into these games. So I'll probably play every character, max level them, and no life this game until I'm done with it.
There's nothing wrong with liking a game and not necessarily going with consensus either. Uh,
Right.
as long as you can be honest. One thing that I've learned from doing this like YouTube thing, I always just tell people, I don't try to be ingenuine. You know what I mean? Like I try to
Yeah.
be genuine. I just say what I truly feel and believe because I feel like the biggest problem I have with gaming discourse is just it's been hijacked by so many different people just to like kind of take away from like, is the game good? Am I having fun? You
Yeah, that's
know?
the ticket. Are you having fun? I
Right.
mean, that's it.
It's just like you're a '90s kid like me. I'm 34. And I feel after a certain point in time, it's like, man, high school was almost 20 years ago. I don't need to fit
Yeah.
at the popular kids table anymore.
Yep. Yep. No, I just had that conversation with my wife not too long ago. Man, 20 years ago was high school. Yeah, because I'm
Yeah,
33. So yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. See, so you and I are basically on the same wavelength there. But it's like I want to talk about games. I want to know what's fun. Why do you like these games? Why do you play these games? Why do we get into this passion? Why do we spend like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, a month sometimes on
Right.
like, merchandise? I just went to the Epic Universe down there in Orlando, and
Oh, okay.
I spent like probably $200 on Mario and Luigi themed stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like these things have like really big impacts to us. Even so, to the point where like you are now creating a whole new website to like dedicate, to the hobby. Like you're
Right.
basically pointing out there. And there's a
Yep.
reason why we love all this stuff. Like you said, Borderlands 2. I don't really hear too many people go Borderlands 2 is my favorite video game of all time. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I know a lot of people really love the Borderlands franchise and were really hyped for 3 coming back. And like you said, there's a lot of people who had like a tepid response to it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm one of those people that bought the crazy collector's edition with the vault and everything in it,
Oh, yeah. The
and
loot box.
yeah, and I played exactly 0 minutes of that game.
Oh, really? Oh,
Oh
that's crazy.
yes, it's kind of
Oh, we have to get you on that one, Carl. I don't know.
I
You
know,
need you
right?
need someone to play through it with. I'm down.
Well, whenever I think I own it on everything now because I'm also one of those
Oh, it's
weirdos.
always on sale. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you're saying, it's like as we get older, like your crew that you used to play with, sometimes like they just fall through, And you're a father, so you shouldn't understand that, when your other friends have kids, and they take up time, because you love them, and you can't be a part-time parent, all right?
Right. Right.
There's
That's why you
no
just got to convert them into gamers, just like you. That's what you got to do.
exactly. That's the smart move, It's like, oh yeah, you always see the gamer family shirts where it's like player 1, player 2, player 3. You got to have
Hmm.
some fun with that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I think it's about time that I add this to the stage here, and let's start showing off your site. Why don't you go over some details, show people the features, and kind of talk more about like what your overall end game goal is with everything here, and how you determine some stuff too. Like just give a whole breakdown of the site, go through the features, so on and so forth.
Yeah. So to be honest, I built this for just me. Um, my wife she reads tons of books. I mean, like 100 books a year. She always does these like challenges and things like this, and she uses Goodreads. And I'm very similar with games where I mean, even my family makes fun of me like my brothers do. My brother plays games, but he's kind of like a Counter-Strike kid. And so he plays that same game over and over. And he's like, man, I can't keep up. You're just switching games all the time. And so I'd watch my wife enter her books into Goodreads. I'm like, man, I kind of want something like that for my video games. And there are things like that for video games, but at the same time, I'm a tinkerer. Like like I said, I program. Even like my old systems, I love to mod them, even though I mod them and then I put them in a closet. But I just like to build stuff. And so I thought it'd be cool to just mesh those two worlds. And so I built this for myself, got it to a place that I was proud of, and was showing my wife, and she said, "Why don't you just publish it?" And at first I said, "No, no, no. That was not my intention. I don't plan on doing it. This is for me." And she's always just been my biggest supporter. So she basically kept nudging me, nudging me, nudging me, and I was like, you know what? Why not? If someone else finds enjoyment from it, I'll go for it. So that was a story of, I guess, how it came to be. I wanted something like Goodreads for myself, and I wanted to build it. I didn't want to use some of the other stuff out there. Um,
Right.
they have features that I really like, but some of the stuff they didn't have, I thought I can do that. So that's why we built it. And then yeah, so like I said, it's Goodreads or it's Letterbox, however, whatever game or movie or collecting site you want to compare it to.
Mm.
Um, and it uses IGDB, which is a pretty popular gaming database. So it pretty much has every game in here you could ever think of. We've had people test it and try to break it, and nothing you can't find. So it really starts on this discovery page. So when you create an account, it pulls you in here just to kind of nudge you in the right direction of what the site is. Hey,
All
here's
right.
some popular games, upcoming releases. And as you start to click around, hopefully it becomes easy to understand. Oh, I need to add this to my library. Well, of course I have that in my library. So it was a bad
Mm.
example. But, you add the games to your library, as you know, create your backlog, things like that, and then
Right.
tackle that as well. So yeah, so the crux of it is a place to keep your game library, to organize it, keep track of what you're playing, what you've played. You can rate it. You can see other people's ratings, things like that. I mean, for example, I know Expedition 33 is really hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we can come in here, and of course, you got your reviews of a bunch of users,
Mm.
screenshots, things like that. So there, like I said, there's a lot of sites that do a lot of this stuff, but they were missing features or things like that. Um, Go
So,
ahead.
but before you go on there, you're talking about other sites that like were missing features and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
I think that's a good point to kind of ask this question then. So, other sites that I use are like Fused or like uh, iToy or Game Eye. I think what I can't remember. iToy is I
Game
think the
Eye.
PlayStation 2 one. So, sorry
Right.
about that. So, what were those sites missing, and what did you see as what you wanted to like make sure that you got what you wanted? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Really, the control of it is a huge deal to me. I mean, little tiny things, the way it looked, things like that was important. Like for example, looking at the screen, I like to have that screenshot. So even little things like that, I like to have control on that. And I think that a lot of the sites just kind of look boring, to be honest. So that was one thing. But feature set wise, I have actually never tried Game Eye. I think I know some of the users of Gameshelf have mentioned it, and I think it may be more like physical collecting. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I've never used it. But other sites that are similar to Gameshelf, like Backlogged or like GG App, um, and some of the things that Backlogged was missing, for example, when I created an account there, is I had to go through and I was manually entering all my games. And if I show my library here, uh, well, it's at the bottom actually. I have 446, which I know is rookie numbers compared to some people out there. But I didn't want to go through and enter 446 games manually. And so it became really tedious. And so one thing that first thing I did was a Steam integration.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so basically when people log in for the first time, they get a little pop-up of some of these more interesting features, and this is one of them. And they can hook up their Steam accounts, and then they just simply hit this button here, and it, depending on our library size, will go out. I've already done it all, so I
Right.
got one game left, but it'll pull like 1,000 games in 30 seconds, and then you'll just hit select all, and you're off to the races. Your game collection's already mostly there if you're a Steam player, and then you can fill the gaps from there.
Okay. So I guess the other question I should have here is does it do the other stores? Is there a plan for the future to add like, GOG, Epic, or whatever other launcher that I can't think of off the top of my head?
Yeah, no, Epic is for sure one. So as I've looked into some of these, some are more open than others. So Steam is very open. They're like, hey, it's their data, do with it whatever they want you to do with it. So Steam was easy, but yeah, I know Epic has a pretty open API, just database, so I can reach in there. But places like Xbox or Nintendo or PlayStation, they're pretty locked down, and they're not going to let us reach in and pull your libraries from there.
Right.
Um, but yeah, definitely Epic and GOG are both two that I have looked into, and it's definitely doable.
Okay. So
So
when
we'll do that
sorry.
in the future.
All right, that's pretty cool to hear. So, I guess another question I should ask too is, when you have all these games on here and stuff like that, when you have the integration, is there going to be a way to for the console homies as well to kind of put their games on here and kind of have like separate tags for like I have this on say Xbox or something like that?
Yeah, so of course you can manually enter the game. So for Xbox and PlayStation, that's what you have to do. I'm actually Xbox is my platform of choice.
Brother.
So even though I have a Steam library of like 200 or so, I still had to come in here and I manually added the other 250 or whatever.
Oh wow.
Um, but yeah, to answer your question, that is actually a feature request on our Discord that has come up quite a few times. Being able to say, "Hey, I played this on Xbox or PlayStation," so definitely something that I want to add, and I'm sure it'll be relatively quickly.
Okay. So I guess another question too is, well, I'm thinking of this off the top of my head. For your games that you have on here, is there
Yeah.
like a subcategory on these games when you go through them for like the DLC? Could you have like separate reviews for DLC as well for people on here?
Yeah. So that right now is a big problem with all of these sites, including Gameshelf, um, especially ones that use IGDB like I do, like I know Backlogged does. IGDB puts all of it out there. So I've actually limited some of the stuff. Like I think if I type Borderlands might be a good example. I believe, yeah, I mean, you see there's the normal versions, you got the deluxe versions, there's DLCs that'll show up in
Mm.
here. There's a 360 version. So I mean, there's all of these like spread out kind of versions. And so right now, because I'm just focusing on, to be honest, just other things.
Mm.
Uh, there is a way though to say, hey, I have Borderlands Game of the Year. I also have Borderlands DLC packs. I have this, and to lump them all together. So that's something that can be done. Today, Gameshelf doesn't do it, but it's one of those things that's on the radar. We are a month. We've been public for a month. Published it a month ago. So definitely still in the early stages. But the cool thing is because it's just me and my Discord essentially, we're pretty quick to make changes. So we don't have a million users or anything. So sweeping changes we can make relatively quickly. So every day there's a new feature that gets added usually.
Yeah. So you said you only have this, like, it's basically been alive for a month. How long did it take you to work on this before you finally said, like, you know what, we're going to go live, honey? You're right. Let's sell our
Yeah,
house. We're putting it all on black. You know.
sell the house. No, I've worked on, to be honest, it's been in my head forever. Um, and about I probably worked on it for 2 months before hitting the button. So I worked on it for about a month, got a prototype up and running. I started using it. I spent about a month on polish, which once I hit the go live button, I realized my polish compared to everyone else's polish was not the same, and so there's still polishing happening. But yeah, so it's been a total of about 3 months on this project, but it's been and I've talked about it forever. So I've been working on it inside the brain for a long time.
Well, it definitely does look very clean. Yeah, I will say that though. From everything I'm looking at here, it very looks very well polished. And I gotta say that UPI you said that you've been using really does a good job showing off, like, the key arts and everything to kind of give you that visual detail of, like, oh, what you're looking for.
Oh yeah. They're the database. I believe it may even. Oh man, I should know this. I'm pretty sure it's backed by Twitch. So
Oh.
so I think that it's kept up to date and it's open source, just meaning like you or I can go in there and tweak things pretty easily. We can say, hey, you're missing a game and throw it in there, throw in some screenshots, and then they'll approve it and put it out there. So it's pretty cool. It's community driven, but also got a pretty big backer with Twitch. So it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, so these other features I see on the side here, like Discovery Friends and so on and so forth, would you like to
Mhm.
explain that a little bit more for everyone?
Yeah. So Friends actually, since I did push the good old big red button, has changed a lot. So we used to do like friend requests similar to Facebook, and it was immediately apparent that no one wanted that. And so we switched to kind of like Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, to followers and following. But yeah, so you come in here, you can find your friends. I know Adriel's got a good profile here, and I can jump in and I can see um, what he just added. Let me see here. I can see his list, so you can create these custom lists, and this is actually really cool. He's an achievement hunter, and
Oh,
so
fun.
so he has 51 games that he's got 100% on. So he goes through and keeps this list up to date, and these lists you can create whatever list you'd like, um, and display it here on your profile. He doesn't rank. That hurts me a little bit, but ranking is essentially just your whole library. You can go in here, and then this is a. I'm sure you've had the conversation a million times. Hey, what's your top 10 games, or what's your top 100 games? Or I mean, 100 in the conversation, but you know what I mean. And so this is a way to take that whole library and just when I have a bunch I haven't ranked. When you have free time, just be like, all right, where does this game slot in, and kind of keep track of that kind of stuff as you go.
See, I like this though. Just to, sorry to cut you off here, but
No, you're fine.
I feel like this is like something I like to talk to people about. Is like it's always hard to talk about like what's your top 10, what's your top 5. I feel like
Yeah.
one of my friends, he does a top 5 show, and I always tell him, I was like, number 1, always the easiest one. It's once you get down to like 3 and 4 and 5, it's like, is this really like one of my favorite ones? I don't know. It's because it's when you really have to, like, you got to pick 5. That's all you got, and you're like, man. But well, when you do a top 10 show, it starts to become like a nightmare, because people like have to talk about their top 10, and then it's just like you get on these long escapades about like why this is your favorite, and then you realize, oh no, it's a 6-hour show, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, for sure. And even when I started doing this list here, I mean, like you said, that my first 10, I was like, all right, I know the top 10 off the top of my head. These are the bangers I play all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put them in there. But yeah, even now it's at like 70. I go down every once in a while. I'm like, all right, I'm going to insert this one somewhere. I just pick a game. And it is a struggle because you can just throw whatever you want in the list. But being these game enthusiasts, we tend to overthink, and we're like, but depending on my mood or whatever, it would be in a different list. And that's actually where this came from. And so this is where you can just create those custom lists. So you could, for example, I have my favorite games based on music. And that's a kind of my way of being able to think it through, like, okay, in this conversation.
Some solid list over here for music choices, at least.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. The only thing I got to disagree with you on is Death Stranding, but I've been getting a lot. I'm calming down on it. All right. I felt like I seriously hate that game so much, and I feel like Kojima robbed me of my money. But
man, you don't like the walking simulator?
No, it's. So I'm trying to be nicer as I do these, and just being fair, and not let my rage get in my way of just being honest and talking about it. My biggest issue was like it felt cool if they didn't keep those wacky like spy names from Metal Gear. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. I know what you mean.
Yeah, that like there was a bunch
Dead
of
man,
stuff in it,
just like on the nose.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like I told people, I'm like, look, it works in Metal Gear. I love it in Metal Gear. Death Stranding, it's like, come on, guys.
Kojima is just going to carry it with them everywhere.
Yeah. So I'm trying. I plan to try it again another day when I finally could get through it. And
what's funny? You say that I was the same way. My wife actually got it for me for Christmas the year it came out. I played it for like maybe an hour or two. Yeah, something like that. I didn't give it too much time. I was like, what is this? And so I put it down, and I picked it up maybe 6 months after that, just because I was bored. And I was like, let me give it another shot. And for whatever reason, it hit that second time. And it was almost like the walking simulator part was a means to get to the story part, because that's what grabbed me, was the story. I mean, it's Kojima. They're interesting, wacky, but it's always intriguing, especially like cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I feel you, and I get it. It's not for everyone for sure, but
like I said, I'm trying, because I also tell people all the time, like some of my favorite video games of all time, I played them at first and I was like, this is stupid. And then when I got older, got more mature, had some mindset change, it's like, well, I went back and I'm like, yeah, I was just, just wasn't at the right time,
Yeah. Well, I know I've recently, before, we were talking I was listening to one of your other podcasts, and you're a big Persona guy.
Yep.
Right. And so you got to sell me on some Persona, because I feel like I love turn-based, but man, I cannot get into those games. I was like, I tried, and it was just, it's the high school theme, I think. I don't know. But then I play Pokemon, and I'm a 12-year-old, so I don't know.
Right.
So
So for me, like when we talk about like Persona and stuff like that, um, I got into Persona because my friends like we're all hyping up Persona 5. So I went and played Persona 5 and I just it just clicked with me.
Yeah.
I like the themes, I like the music. Like by far like every Persona game has like a banger of a soundtrack. So like if I was doing like this games with great music, all the Persona games would be on here cuz all the Persona games have amazing music.
Yeah.
So like I like the art style. I a little bit about me. I like the Tim Burton esque Nightmare Before Christmas, Psychonauts kind of art styles more
Okay.
than I like the regular like the Death Stranding realistic and all that stuff. I don't hate it. I'm not saying
Mhm.
that. It's I just prefer that more weird and like claymation and cell shade and just vibrant colors like Killer 7, Killer Must Die or Killer is Dead, I should say. Like all those like crazy Suda 51 kind of games is stuff. Like it just appeals more to me.
Yeah.
So Persona 5 had me hooked with the art style. I mean, I like anime, I like Japanese culture, so it is nice to kind of see like what life looks like in like downtown Tokyo. And I feel like for me, it's just when I was getting married back in like 2019, I just bought this house that I'm living in right now before we got married. I was going through a bunch of anxiety and stuff like that. And I was playing Persona 3 Portable, which was the PSP version of the game.
Okay.
And the themes of like these Persona games like just really hook me. So like the best way to say it is like Persona 3 talks about like accepting fate, where it's like eventually we're all going to die, but we don't have to necessarily just die without grace. That's like one of the big themes about it, where it's like you just don't have to always accept like, you know, every like there are predetermined outcomes. It's your way how you want to get to the end of that outcome.
Yeah.
Like Persona 4, that one I think has the best cast of characters, and it gives you that real good like summer adventure of growing up with your friends, and like also just for me, like I grew up in the boonies, you kind of grew up in the boonies, so you kind of understand this a little bit, where it's like you're from like a nothing town, and then all of a sudden the super Walmart opens up, and it's just like you got to deal with like just like how the world is kind of changing around you and stuff. It's really nice and really cool. And then Persona 5 was just really fun gameplay, really fun soundtrack, and a decent story, to say the least. And it's made a lot of memes, that's for sure.
Yeah. So if you were to recommend one to somebody, Persona 5 would be the first one to play.
I would say Persona 5 is the better one, but I also the Persona 3 Reloaded came out, and I would say yeah, you could also start with that one. I think it's the best Persona, but I'm
Mm,
biased. But I would say like the most fan friendly one. I would definitely say Persona 5 Royale is the one to start with.
gotcha.
So, sorry, we got a little bit on that sidetrack tangent, but
Oh no, that's all right. I don't mind being sidetracked.
no problem. But if you may continue.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just so yeah, these lists you can create whatever you want, and then I mean, just an example of features that we just kind of add pretty quickly, like these little art. You can choose your screenshots and stuff. That was something we added today, just based off feedback in our Discord, um, and things like that. So the only let me see here. So we talked about friends, discover, and then game clubs. So this is actually kind of what in my mind was going to set Gameshlf apart from like a backlog. Like everywhere can log your games and you can do as much as you want with that idea and tweak it, but the core is always the same. Um, but I, like I said, I play all these games and all the time I just want to talk about them. Like, for example, Expedition 33, played that this year and the world's talking about it. No one in my friend group cared about that game. And so I'm like, oh, but it was so good, and I just wanted to talk about it. And so my wife goes to book clubs because she's a big reader, and I thought, what? Why can't you have a book club for video games? And so that's where this started. it has evolved. It used to be based around a specific game. You know, you'd get through your game, you'd move on to the next. But it has changed a little bit. So now it's less based around a game, and it's more so based around your friend group. So
Mm.
when you create a club, so this is me and my kids. Um, you invite your members. You can make it public, private, all that kind of stuff, and then you create sessions. So right now we already played through Donkey Kong Bonanza. We're playing through Pal World, and we actually just started playing Palia, trying to find like a cozy game that the whole family can play together.
Mm.
Um, and so, yeah, so you and your friends groups can have as many games as you want running in here. Um, this one, you know, Marvel Rivals. Me and my friend Musaya, he big Marvel Rivals guy, and so this is just a never-ending one. I mean, and then as you click into these sessions, sorry, let me go back to one that has more than one. You can have discussions around the game. And so you can see here, we had these discussions around Donkey Kong. Of course, this was also to test some of the features. Me and my kids do talk in real life. And then and then you can leave a review once your session is over. And you can always look back at this. So one thing that my wife's book club does all the time is they actually have someone that keeps like all these stats. And at first it's like, man, that's interesting. But it is interesting. It's not weird. I mean, they've looked back 15 years and looked at some of the books they've read, or even wrote down some of the thoughts from 15 years ago, and then they reread it and they're like, what were we thinking? And so that's kind of the idea here is with your core friend group or what anything like that, you could document when you played the game, how you were feeling, the conversations around it, and it's always here. So as you guys continue to play games and these sessions grow and your game club gets larger, you can always go back and kind of see at any point in time, um, just how you felt about a particular game or anything like that.
Mm. Okay.
So
That
this is
sounds.
one, to be honest, that is not quite took off yet, and I'm really trying to tweak it, and we're trying to figure out how to make it appealing, and it's difficult because Discord exists, and
Mhm.
so people are going to be there. Um, but yeah, so we're still working on this feature, trying to figure out how to make it just more appealing to just more of the masses, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like that's always a hard part, especially with these sites. Is now you got so many competitors, you got Twitter, you got Discord, Facebook even, and it's just now it's like whenever you make something new, you always got to try to figure out like what works, what doesn't work, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So so I understand that. It's a cool concept. I like the idea. Um I wonder it's like do you so this is like all private and public you said, right?
Yeah, these clubs.
So is there like a chance to have like a master club where it's just like one giant thread on there? Have you considered that one as a possibility, or is that too much of a headache?
What do you mean?
So, for example, is there like just a main kind of like topic hub where it's like everyone can kind of post on there, kind of like a forum? Is like, hey, I'm going to start a new
Mm.
club, and so on and so forth. Would you like to join? Looking for like 8 people, so on and so forth, like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we don't have anything like that built into Gameshelf. Inside of these clubs, if you don't dive into the sessions, you can have discussions on the club level. But to maybe get people in, I mean, kind of sounds like you're describing Reddit in a way.
A little bit.
Um,
Just like a
yeah.
little bit. There's nothing wrong with stealing a little bit of ideas to make
Oh
something work. That's what
no.
they say.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. No, that's a good idea. We don't have that right now, and maybe that would help the future be able to be pushed a little more because it is kind of hard to find a club at the moment because
Right.
it's just a public search. So you'd have to from other social media, someone would have to say, "Hey, on my game shelf, join my club" or whatever, and then you have to go find it. So right now there isn't one, but no, that's a good idea. I'm going to write it down.
All right, cool. It's just so much because like I'm looking at this here and I'm thinking, well, for me personally, it feels like I like talking to people about games, and like it's nice to have just kind of like that one master list to see who's all on there. Kind of do the networking thing a little bit easier on said site of like usually people who are all there, and you can kind of gauge people. It's like, okay, so we're already at a common place already. Let's see, I like this guy. Hey, let's, kind of get into this club. You want to join this club? And, just stuff like that. Make it a little bit more social. It doesn't have to be the next face. So, like, something like a master kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good idea, just to have probably just right here on this Game Clubs page, something that you could, post messages to, looking for people to join so and so. Yeah, I mean, that hasn't come up in the Discord either, and so I appreciate that's good feedback.
Yeah, it's just something of an idea, because the one thing I will say, when I look at these other sites, the ones that try to be more social, it just seems like there's no way to kind of keep track of like a master kind of like thing, where it's just like there's no perfect formula or something. Obviously, it's a lot of work, so I'm not expecting like do it now, damn it. But it's just like,
Yeah, no,
I,
no, we're not scared of work.
yeah, it's an idea just to throw out there, see if it works, and if it fails, well, hey, listen, it just wasn't meant to be, right?
Fail fast, right?
Right.
Figure it out
So
now.
so when you go with like your friends over here too and everything, uh, is there like an easy way to find friends in here, or is like how does this whole thing like really work overall?
Yeah, so for right now, you do have to hit follow user and do a search, and so you do have to know your friend's username.
Right.
Um, and to be honest, it's because the site is still pretty small, so we don't have a huge data set to start testing more like algorithmic ways of finding people. But so yeah, right now you have to know your friend's name, you follow them, or if you go to like a if you're let me see here. Well, once again, Expedition 33 is just a good example. But if I see somebody here, you can see I'm their friend, so I can click that. But if I see somebody who has a similar taste in games or something like that, I can click here and I can send them a follow request.
All right.
If they're public, I could follow them. This user is private, but so there's a couple quick ways in the UI to find people. Also, sorry, this is a little bit of a tangent. Something I
No,
meant to
you're
bring up on
fine.
the friend side. So when you do have this friends group started, one cool feature, and I need to make this more prominent, I think, but you can click here and you can see games that you share with all these friends. Um,
Oh, that's actually cool.
yeah, so it's a cool way to be able to, hey, if I want to play something, I know, I can quickly find something that we share. I can filter down and I can say, hey, I want to see Kristen close. And then we can find games that we both have. And so that's another cool part about creating this friends list.
That is actually pretty cool. I like that.
But then, yeah, you can, just like Twitter and all that other stuff, you can block people if, someone starts spamming bad reviews on your good reviews or something like that. But
So people can comment on your reviews. Is that what I'm hearing?
no, but I'll go back to 33. No, but no, we can't comment reviews. You can like reviews, but if I'm reviewing something, you can always go to your social timeline and you can see what people are doing.
Oh, okay.
So, if you have somebody that's kind of following you, if you're a public account and just putting bad reviews or something like that on games that you wrote good reviews on, someone harassing you a little bit, you can block
Mm,
them.
fair enough. I mean, I don't. Hopefully, nobody's doing that.
No, 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 it hasn't happened yet. But I mean, it is kind of interesting. Immediately when I put it out there, um, just like language and even stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, wait a minute. I hadn't thought I got to limit that, like some of those things you don't even think about. And so trying to get ahead of some of it, we actually took away profile pictures because we're like, all right, we don't want, because we started seeing language on the site that we weren't about. We're like, you
Yeah.
can't be saying these things. And so we had to, build that in to block those. And then we took profile pictures away just for now until we figure out a better solution there, to be
Right.
able to report. And yeah, it's interesting when you build it, you don't think about some of that stuff until you hit that publish button and then stuff happens and you're
Yeah.
kind of taken aback at first. You're like, wait a minute. You're like, oh wait, this is the internet.
So you
So
got a lot of like Hitler's did nothing wrong 99 popping
yeah,
up on
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand what it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, I did grow up on 360 lobbies. I should have expected this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Call of Duty has raised all of us.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's one of those weird things where it's like you expect like the best of humanity and then forget like, oh wait, no.
Right. Yeah.
You can't fully guarantee what human nature is. So you gotta rein it in a little bit. It's like, come on, guys. It's like we're trying to have fun. There's other websites for those. Just go
Yeah.
there.
Right. You can go
You know,
somewhere else for all this.
it's just, and that's kind of like what I like is like you're trying to build like this nice chill environment. You're constantly learning. I mean, is it just only you working on this, or is it just like you and like someone else?
Yeah. So no, It's just me. Um, which is its own. It's definitely like scary. Like the other day, I took the site down on accident,
Oh no.
and and so I panicked, and I was like, "Oh no, no, yeah, we fixed it really fast." But I say we a lot because um, just the Discord has they get together and they're driving a lot of these changes. I mean, they're
Yeah.
taking the next features and things like that. But development wise, I'm the only developer.
All right. All right. I do have a friend that was asking if you wanted to uh, get a maintenance helper, so maybe I'll get you in touch with him after that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we have one guy that actually runs the Discord. It was our just one of our first users actually, and he reached out and he's my Discord was absolute garbage. I've never managed one. I've been a part of them, but I've never managed one. And with all the socials, I got Twitter, I got all the stuff. I'm trying to juggle all of it. It kind of fell to the side. There was
I
no
don't
one in
blame
it, so I didn't even think about it. And he jumped in. He's like, "Man, this is looking rough."
you.
I said, "Yeah, it's not great." And so he said, let me take a stab at it." And so I mean, he's been great. He completely revamped it. It's very usable now and very efficient. And I mean, bug reports, feature requests, all that without votes. I mean, he's done a really good job
Oh, wonderful.
at managing that.
Yeah, so it's always nice when you got like the people who are willing to also see the vision and help you out as along the way too. You know.
Yeah, nothing was cooler than when he reached out and did that. I mean, that was our first real support, and it was one of those moments where I sat and I was like, "Wait a minute, someone else cares about this thing?" I sat with my wife, and it's like, "This, this kind of is working. What's happening?" So, no, it's cool. We
So
appreciate him.
I got one more question to ask, kind of about this as well. So, one of my buddies, he has been using your site, and he's looking at everything here, and he was wondering, has anyone suggested, like in the future, to keep track of like other things that go with like this hobby? So, like an
Mhm.
amiibos, controllers, consoles, like other peripherals and paraphernalia and stuff like that. Like, what are like has anyone talked about like in the future to kind of add more to the collecting add-ons as well?
Yeah, so so I'm not a physical collector. I just play a lot of games. But once we let this thing out, it was very interesting to see that that is kind of the audience that first was attracted to the site. I mean, it was all these physical collectors, and then it reached out
Yeah.
asking very similar questions. Um, so yeah, we're thinking about it. The console question has been asked, like specific consoles, along with like special edition consoles and all that. To be honest, I haven't looked into what it would take. Like I said, I do use a third party database because there's no way I can manage all these games. So I haven't dug into their stuff to see if they have consoles. I would be surprised if they didn't. So at least console wise, I think that is something that we wanted to put on in the future. Um, as far as like controllers and amiibos and things like that, no, that was the first time I've been asked that. So but I imagine if we go down the route of console collecting and physical collecting, then yeah, we would probably want to look into other video game physical collecting things. We have been asked about barcode scanning and things like that. That's come up in the Discord a few times. Hey, I want to be able to scan my physical disc and my physical game and get that exact version in the app.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a little trickier than I thought it'd be. At first, I was like, "Oh man, it's a great idea. I'm gonna get right on that." And I started to get into it. And I was like, "Oh, whoa, the barcode companies don't keep track. There's GameStop barcodes and these, Best Buy barcodes. They're all different. And I'm like, oh, wait
Yeah.
a minute. Maybe this isn't as easy as I thought.
Yeah,
But
I feel like that's like one of the things for me because I'm a giant physical collector. I think you've seen some of my videos I've been posting, but I have oh geez, I probably have 600 original Xbox games physically alone,
oh wow,
and I
just the
collect
original Xbox, you
just
said?
the original Xbox. Yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah. I'm
I
trying to
didn't even
go
know there was
for.
600 original Xbox games.
I think there's like 826, and I'm trying to go for a master set.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so it's been a trip and a half, but I always joke like I'm an Egyptian pharaoh. When I die, I'm just going to be surrounded by just plastic in my grave, you know. but
That's funny.
one of the things that for me as a physical collector, and this could be a feature down the road, but obviously because I'm also a guy who's on my phone a lot, so obviously an app would be easier, but let's not try to
Yeah,
flood the system, Uh,
we have an app, but
oh, you do?
Android app. We're working
Oh,
on
okay.
iOS right now. I don't know what phone you've got,
I
but
got an iPhone. I'm one of those
so do
losers.
I. Android is just easier to develop for, but yeah, we're working on iOS now.
Yeah. So like I think for me is because this is what happens for me, and this is just an anecdotal story. I'll go
Okay.
out like video game shopping, and I'll be looking at my list that I have on my phone, and then I'll be like, oh, I don't have this game. And I'll go back to the place and I retyped it in wrong, and I'll get home and I'll realize that I bought Loco Roco and I wrote it as Roco Loco or something like that. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'll be like, God damn it, my dyslexia, whatever. I've bought games like 3 or 4 times, and I get home, I'm like,
Oh,
son of a bitch, I did win this game.
oh man, that would suck. You probably got all pumped like, oh, close to that 800.
And that's fine because I do a lot of buying and trading at a
Mm.
lot of my local game stores out here. So I just go and I'll be like, well, damn it, this is going up north again to be resold. Trade it in for a game I know I don't have.
Right.
So I guess another question too is I was looking through some of these photos of games that you have on here. Is there
Mhm.
like a coming soon section in here like that you've got on here for future game releases and stuff like that? I think
Yeah.
that's
So
right here.
yeah, on the Discover page, there's upcoming releases. And so IGDB, like I said, that database, they keep track of. They have like a popularity gauge, and I don't know exactly how they. I'm assuming they just people maybe watch or wish list things on their site or something like that. But this is basically the upcoming games based on like date and popularity. Um, so yeah, as I look through this list, I think at least for real popular games, yeah, this kind of nails it.
That's pretty cool, actually. I like that.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really show you this page too much, but yeah, the three sections you got popular now, upcoming releases. Um, we have a because you loved section. So basically, if you can favorite games in your collection. So if you favorited them or if you've rated them above a 9, they can randomly pop up here. As you refresh the page, you'll get a different game. And then it's grabbing games that are similar. To be honest, some of this stuff needs tweaking because a lot of it I rely on IGDB, and then I realize, wait a minute. And so then I got to go in like this one. This wouldn't I wouldn't think Donkey Kong Bonanza and think these games. So I need to probably go in here and you can basically manually tweak that algorithm just ever so slightly and try to dial it in. And then we have a trending with friends section. And so this is just games that your friends are either currently playing or ones that they recently rated. So you can kind of keep up with what your friends are doing at a
I
glance.
You can see my friend right here, Mr. Angry Canadian, right here.
Oh, there he is.
There he is, popping up.
Yep.
Shout out to him.
Yep. No, that's funny. When I saw that and I saw you had him on and I made that connection that he was on the site, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's funny. I like this a lot. This recommended feature or games you might like. I don't think I've ever seen that on any other site off of the top of my head. So this is really cool, actually.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's trying to trying to give you like when you log in, this is the first page you go to, just to try to get the idea across, and then if there's also this latest dev update. So every month I'll post a developer update, and so if you guys, if if anyone's wanting to keep track of the new features by month, obviously, like I said, it's only been out for a month, so this is the first one. But I plan to keep up with this. So every month you can kind of see the new features and screenshots, and we're honestly just being very vulnerable and open with it.
Mm.
Um, if you follow like on Reddit, where every week I post something similar to this, but I expose like numbers. And so I show how many users we have, how many games have been downloaded, or how many games have been added to collections, how many reviews are on the site. And at first, I was like, I don't want to do that. It's going to expose how small we really are. But then I was like, you know what? No, it's kind of cool because, people can kind of grow with us. And so as I've been doing that, even it's pretty cool to see, the first week it was 20 users. And then now after a month, we're at 230. And so
Oh wow.
it's not a huge site by any means, but the growth has been, it's not just steady, it's more exponential. So it's been pretty cool to see.
Well, listen, they say Rome was built in a day, but everyone knows that's not true. So,
Right,
uh,
right.
it definitely looks really, on point. It's got a lot of things going for it. And the best part about it is you're still very small and, growing. You're listening to feedback as you go. You can still do that. And you can still hammer out a lot of these details and everything too. So it is very nice to kind of just have people know about like what Gameshlf is. This is the ground floor. Like for the people
Yeah,
who watch my channel or anyone out there that's interested in just going to find a place where you can just talk about video games. I've always
absolutely.
I always throw out Fuse when I talk to people, and I'm going to be promoting Gameshlf a lot more. I'm going to create my account after this and go through it and get everything set up because I wanted to see this more like right here with you, go through, learn everything, and just kind of get this out here too because this is stuff that I think a lot of people want. We're reaching that point now where it's like all these older sites have kind of like gone off the rails. They're way past their prime, and there's no real fixing them. Like
Yeah,
there's a reason why they call it boomer book. There's a reason why people just don't go on any social media sites anymore because it's just like bots and insanity and people just go like I just want to talk video games. I
yeah,
just want to sit here and just have like a conversation talking about like the art form that I love purely here. And this seems like a very good first step on it. A little like some sites like Fuse, where it's like they're trying to do some similar things, but now we got like another alternative that people can go for, and you can look and you can have those clubs, and you can kind of like you said, like a book club. There are gamers who, they don't want like the Facebook of gaming. They just want a more dedicated. I'm going to sit down with some people, and we're just going to like have a deep conversation about like what is good about this game. And this looks like it's going to foster and promote that kind of environment. And like you said, only been live for a month. You said it's only like 200 people on there, but that's still a lot of people. you know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's yeah, it's remain humble type of thing. It's been one of those things every day. My wife is, we wake up in the morning, we check the numbers, and it's not because it's about, because we don't make money from number of users. We don't have ads on the site right now, and we really want to keep it that way. We'll see long term if that's feasible. But it's just the community around it. I mean, the coolest thing was when that Discord got launched and that user helped us organize it, and he started, we start seeing people go into that community and then talk about it and get excited. I mean, if not, they can match my excitement in the Discord, a lot of them, and it's pretty cool to see people rallying around it and say, "Oh man, it would be so cool if we." And it's even cooler for me when someone asks for a feature, and it's like, "Oh, I can do that. Why didn't I think of it?" And then we can deliver on that and get it to them. And so, yeah, I mean, like you said, this is the ground floor. But we are definitely excited to see where we can take it. And yeah, if anyone is listening and wants in on it, the Discord is definitely the place to be to help pave what this will eventually become.
Yeah, and I got to say this too because you've been shouting her out a lot, this entire interview.
Yeah, yeah, she's a big
Like
supporter.
it does help because, like I said, my wife, she does all the editing, she does all my thumbnails for the stuff like that. So it really does help when you have somebody, that you love that is this close and personal and is involved with it too, that they want to see you succeed and they treat, your vision like part of their vision too. And that really does help kind of get through those like moments of like self-doubt and everything else like that. Obviously you married her, so you love her, already.
Yeah,
So it is awesome, to hear that, where it's just like, that inspires me because it's like, yeah, I know exactly what you're going through. It's like it is nice to not have have a supportive wife, not going like, what is this dumb shit,
oh, absolutely. I mean, it would be impossible if there was any if she was pushing back at all. I mean, we have 3 kids, and I work a full time job, and so I get done with work, I get home, we quickly have dinner usually, and it's like I do try to this last 3 months or so I make sure I got family time,
Yeah.
but it is a lot of extra time and maybe another 30 hours in my week where I set aside and say okay I'm gonna and she completely backs me on it and she gets excited about all the victories with me and so yeah, I mean, it would not be possible
Oh,
if she
that's
wasn't on board.
awesome. That's just really awesome, man. 3 kids. Congratulations on the sex. That's what I always say.
Yeah, yeah. We figured out what's happening now, and we're slowing down.
There you go. And like you said, 3 kids. That's nothing to shake a tail feather at,
Yeah, yeah. No, we definitely have a busy life. They're all in. All we just got back from soccer practice today. All 3 of them play soccer, and so we're just go 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 all the time. But yeah, she's super supportive in all of it.
That's wonderful, man. Like this is what people should listen to and get inspired by. It's just like everything in life is going to be a challenge. Everything in life is going to get in the way. And it's up
Yeah.
to you to kind of like prioritize like what you can do, how to be, the work life balance. I guess that's the correct term I'm looking for here.
Right.
And
Right.
for everyone out there, listen, this guy works a full-time job, he's married, he's got 3 kids. Like life is hard out there for a lot of people, right now for different reasons. And it always comes down to just one thing: never give up. Always try to like do what you need to do, work hard at it, and listen, it's okay to understand that you probably won't succeed at everything, but just give it a try. And that's what Gameshlf is doing. That's what Mr. Tyler here has been doing, and it looks very good for like 1 month. I'm shocked that this is only a month old. To be honest with you, it feels like it's
Oh, thank you.
been around for like at least a year. So like that's even more wild to hear about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a passion project for sure, and um, yeah, I'm excited every day I sit down and work on it. It's not something I dread doing, and like I said, the community that's already starting to grow around it has been, obviously, like I said, we were talking about our spouses and stuff, but also even just the user community and the feedback from them has been incredibly encouraging, and they usually send me my next idea, and so it's kind of nice to. I would say the first 2 months where I was doing it by myself, there was definitely the siloed feeling, especially without the feedback loop. But now that there's a community starting to build, it feels a lot less siloed. And if I had to say that the hardest thing about doing this was that feeling. And so now that we're kind of like broke through the other side, even if it is only a handful of people, it makes a world of difference.
Right. And I got to ask this question. It's like, was there an idea that you thought was like super awesome and then everyone said, no, that's stupid? And you're like, well, fine. Has there
Oh
been
yeah,
like one of those moments? Like, what was the
the original
one?
game clubs before even the version you just saw. Before it was based around a game, and you had to finish the game to start the next one. I mean, it was very like step one, step two, step three, and even before I went public with it all, I showed it to Musaya, that user we saw a little bit ago, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, if you like that, that's cool." And I was like, just be honest. Say what you want us to say with your chest." And he was like, "It's not great." And so I was like, "All right, that's fine, that's fine." So we've retweaked it, and but yeah, that was probably the biggest oof because that was, to be honest, the part I was really excited to build. You know, I was like, "Oh
Right.
yeah, I got this cool idea," and it was like, "Nah, it's cool in your own head." When you go to put it out there, it's like, well, it doesn't resonate. And so,
Well,
and
I know. Go on, sorry.
even I'll just say, even now, I mean, I'm glad for that feedback. I mean, it hurts when you first hear it. It's like, oh man, but you get to the other side of it, you're like, oh wait a minute, you're right. Yeah, this is way better. And so even the feedback that sucks, it's helpful.
Yeah, sometimes you need to get that harsh reality where it's like, got to get that shake. You just like get you off that path of looking more like an idiot. I understand.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think this has been pretty good. I'm going to start wrapping this down. So is there any like final pitch that you can tell for people who are going to be listening? Like, what makes you so proud of your project? Why should people keep coming here? And what is like the overall future goal, and so on and so forth. I'm going to give you the floor. Give yourself a sales pitch out here for everyone that's in the audience, and let's hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you play lots of games, you want to track them, we're the place to do it for sure. Especially if you're starting fresh with that Steam import, if you got a large Steam library, super easy to do. And like Carl mentioned a little bit ago, I mean, this really is the ground floor. And so right now, this is the worst state we're going to see. Um, join our Discord is the best place to give feedback. Reddit is probably the next. Just join our social channels. Um, yeah, and just help us build it. I mean, we're taking all kinds of feedback and we are making changes literally every single day. There's a new version out. So, uh, yeah, if you like collecting games and you just want a place to see what your friends are doing, this is definitely where you should be doing it.
All right, all right. And also, I will link the direct link to the website as well as the Discord is on the website directly here too. I see. So,
Yep.
if you want to go join that here too, please check the comments, not the comment section, the description of this video, and you will be able to go directly there, create an account, and then go straight to the Discord link, hop on, or Reddit, or wherever else they have listed here. Please do so right then. So, Mr. Tyler, this was awesome to have you on, and I can't wait to join the site and kind of get into it with my little autistic details of like trying to make stuff work for me here. This looks really cool, and I'm looking forward to having you back on in the future. Maybe talk about other video game related stuff where you could kind of squeeze in, especially because we are now in the Midwest, so snow season's here. It's
Oh yeah.
Halloween. Thanksgiving, Christmas. So it is getting to that time where you're going to be more and more hectic, especially with 3 kids. I can only imagine. So
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to this future of you, man. Keep it up and keep doing what you're doing. So with that being said, everyone, if you've made it to the end of this video, please remember to leave a like and a comment, a small sacrifice to the algorithm gods. They help this channel grow. And also, if you haven't already, turn on the notification bell because it helps people know when interviews like this go live or just unboxing and everything else like that. Mr. Tyler, it was wonderful to have you on. And I'm going to say this again, everyone, have yourself a great night wherever you are. Peace out.